everyone, this is Dan,
This is Drew.
and welcome to Marvel's Flying Monkeys in the absolute last episode of the Incredible Hulk series.
We are literally just cramming a minute and a half together because we are so done.
Yeah. Oh man, like this is so we're actually picking up like at the very last sequence of shots here where it's Ross is at the bar getting shit-faced because, his career has pretty much been burned to the ground. Performing illegal arms research and, destroying entire neighborhoods of New York will tend to get you dragged in front of Senate subcommittees.
Oh yeah, no, he is not doing great.
Yeah.
I love your bit about who orders a drink by saying reload. Like,
Yeah.
on the one hand, that's the kind of thing that I feel like a writer was sitting around and going, reload, like reloading a gun. This guy's in the military. That makes sense, right? Didn't ask anybody, wrote it, and that's why it's there.
Yeah.
But it's also kind of funny too because like we have the benefit of hindsight. We can look back and realize this guy like later on has a heart attack while golfing and decides to change his life and become Secretary of State. So it's not like he fails upward per usual, both in the Marvel Cinematic Universe and for old white men in the real world.
Yes, especially in the Bush administration.
Yeah, seriously. And
hell of a job, Thunderbolt.
Jesus Christ. And so yeah, so that's the thing that happens later, but we don't know that now. We're just watching him get drunk in like a bar. Well, assuming a military bar, because they had like a few other like military-looking people in there, like with the dress and uniforms and stuff. He's obviously not having a great time getting drunk and saying reload. I mean, I wouldn't be having a great time if I was like saying that shit too. I do like what you included. It was from the Amazon. Amazon has their little X-ray feature with like the little trivia and tidbits and shit like that, right?
Yep. Yeah, apparently he is drinking. If you look closely, he's drinking like a green drink. And Amazon X-Ray claims that he's supposed to be drinking a cocktail called the Incredible Hulk, which is Hennessy, cognac, and hypnotique liqueur.
That sounds awful.
Yeah, seriously, right?
2, it is a bit on the nose. So on the nose that you would think he got slapped in the face with the Hulk's dick. Which 3 feeds into the whole joke of the fact that he's drinking the Incredible Hulk. I don't know. It's one of those things again where like somebody thought it was funny and you're kind of like, this is dumb.
Apparently, Hypnotique is made from vodka, cognac, and fruit juices on top of everything else. So
it's a lot of cognac.
Yeah, he is just slamming the cognac.
I gotta say, we both kind of talked around this, but the stupid drink notwithstanding, some of the best acting of the entire movie happens in this sequence from William Hurt.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
He is such a good, miserable drunk.
Yeah, he does a great job here. Like, frankly, I think my note is like, yeah, this is the most acting they've asked him to do in the entire movie, and it's, like, it is pretty great.
Like, so this is like the big quote unquote crossover because Tony Stark walks in, illuminated behind him with mist and everything. It's
yeah,
Jesus Christ. But anyways, he walks in and goes to talk about forming a team with all these illusions and all that crap to Avengers, which don't make any fucking sense.
No.
Which is why Marvel chooses to ignore this. But in response to all of this, like, he's very drunk because he's been drinking a lot of these things and reloading a lot. And so, like, he, like, Tony comes in, he's always like, Stark is like, you always wear nice suits. He's like just saying all these things and he's like really wide-eyed. And it's like, yeah, he's drunk.
Yeah.
Like, he is wasted. This is fantastic.
Yeah, and I do actually kind of like, especially in later movies, just like him busting Stark's balls, because at this point, he probably, like, there's like all these slight references to Iron Man where Tony Stark is like, I've always preferred hardware myself. It's like, careful what bar you say that in, Tony.
Yeah. Oh, Jesus. But this is in neither of our notes, but this is a good contrast that I just thought of, which is, and this is part of the reason why I think Marvel ignores this, is because it really feels like in this scene they are trying to push the Tony character in a direction that Tony doesn't end up going. Because here he's like he's playing ball, he's on board, he's pushing the Shield agenda essentially, like was quite literally what he's doing here. And then when we come to Iron Man 2, he's like they're trying to they're playing into the demon in a bottle storyline without him actually being drunk. They're just like, it's more like, ego and repression and panic attack stuff, which goes into Iron Man 3 as well. But that because they give him like the whole like issue with the poisoning, and like they deem him like, unfit essentially by the end of the movie.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like here we don't get that, like, because he's already like that in Iron Man 1. Like he's already that character, and here it feels like he's suddenly mature. Yeah. And he doesn't like get to this point even and really until Endgame, to be honest. And so it feels like that's a big part of, I think, why they ignore this too. But it's such a great thing where it's like Hertz Ross here, on the other hand, is so true to what this situation would be.
Yeah.
And RDJ's Tony is like fucking out of left field, like some executive, there's the creative committee coming in and say, we should do this now, and then later regretting it after they've already shot it and put the movie out.
Is there a more perfect summary of this movie than an end cap they regret?
Yes. Well, it's not even that. Like, so I didn't even think about this until we were watching it. Marvel usually, I think it really became a thing after Phase 1, but they don't do beginning credit sequences. It's almost always like they just shoot into the movie, and then you get the end credits, which are very artful and simple, like, cast, title, all that kind of stuff. Then the poster mid-credit scene, or the mid-credit scene, then the actual credits, and the post-credit scene. Like but it was solidified by Phase 2, and that's what it became. I think Avengers really sold it, actually, is that's when it started. But this is like, because even like Iron Man 1, like, isn't the scene with Nick's or Fury is after the credits, right? It is a legitimate post-credit scene.
It is, yeah.
So this is the second movie, and I remember it like there's no credits. Like it's just movie abruptly, weirdly ends, and then here's Ross and Stark in a bar just randomly.
Yeah.
It's not great, Bob.
Nope, it's not.
So,
oh man,
this is like, we're coming to the end of this.
Yeah.
I mean, this is the end of this. I guess we should pretty quickly put out some final thoughts here. I will say that I still like this movie more than Ang Lee's Hulk.
Yes, we know you have no taste.
That opinion has not changed. I have plenty of taste. I mean, after what the Rosses have been through with drinking all of the Incredible Hulk they've drank in this movie, I still have taste buds.
Yeah, I just, like... So my thing is that I really don't know that it's possible. I've talked about this throughout the podcast. We've been doing this. I don't really know that it's possible to make a Hulk movie that really pleases people. Like, I think there's just too many problems with the character when you put him on screen. And, for those handicaps, this does a decent job. But I think if they had let Edward Norton, or if they'd, like, this is really like their disappointing second album. Like, this is the one where they screwed everything up. Like, things did not go the way they were supposed to, and they learned their lessons going forward. And in some ways, that makes it a very good movie to watch to understand how the Marvel Cinematic Universe works, but I also think it's very much a limiting factor. You can tell every time those movies are about to become creative, until very recently, in fact, you could tell they were kind of like, well, we had Edward Norton, and he tried to be all artsy and creative, and we had this big mess on our hands that we didn't make a lot of money on, and they've only recently gotten past that. And so, in some ways, I think this movie leaves behind, like, for the Marvel Cinematic Universe at least, kind of like this mixed legacy of, they tried, but they failed, and that failure has kind of defined the movies as much as the successes.
Why are we doing this to ourselves?
I don't know. Which movie do you want to do next?
We should probably decide that off cast, but not that we've been going in order anyways, so it's whatever. But yeah. I will say, of the three we've done, because we've done Iron Man, and then we jumped ahead to Captain America: The First Avenger, and then we jumped back to this. This is definitely the worst. It's kind of weird. Like, I really wish that we had gotten the movie that Ed Norton and Lula Terrier had wanted. I also kind of wish that we'd gotten the movie that would have had that ending with Bruce accepting Hulk. Like, it's two different movies for sure. So I'm kind of conflicted about that. But yeah, this is a steaming pile of shit. And to quote Jeff Goldblum, it is a big pile. That is a big pile of shit because the Hulk is a big boy. But yeah, I really don't know what else to say about this other than that.
I think once you say this is a big pile of shit, you pretty much sum it up.